Believe none of what you hear and only half of what you see. Let me say that again for you. Believe none of what you hear and only half of what you see. Jasse Dwayne Onfroy, born June 23rd, 1998, passed on June 18th, 2018, known by his stage name Xxxtentacion. There's so much more to this Xxxtentacion story that meets the eye, but of course, majority of the people have been conditioned to believe what they are told, so they will probably believe what they are told in this case also. Let's do a short history on him before we go into what we're really here to talk about. So he was born and raised in Plantation, Florida. Onfroy spent most of his childhood in Lauderhill, Florida, and he began writing music after he was released from a correctional facility, a youth correctional facility. Eventually, after he was released, he put some songs on SoundCloud in June of 2013, and those became popular. Years of struggle, years of abuse, years of a rough life did not stop this star from shining. His life was taken away tragically recently, but it is more to this story than meets the eye. Now, the first time I heard his real name, Jasse, I thought to myself, this is a Rastaman's baby. Not a Rastaman as in a Rastafarian with long dreadlocks smoking marijuana, but a Rastafarian or a Rastaman as in someone that knows of Rasta and knows of that culture. So I wasn't surprised when I found out that his father was actually a Jamaican. Many people are going to go even deeper with that and say stuff like he is from the Hebrew Israelite seed. And he came with a message. So in this video, we're going to talk about the indigo, crystal, rainbow, and star children, right? And what this star child's message was. But before we go there, let's talk about some other information surrounding him as well. You know, they say that there's a thin line between genius and insanity. And in his case, Xxxtentacion's case, it was clearly seen, right? This brother had 2 consecutive hit albums. One topped the Billboard 200 charts in March of 2018, and had been listened to hundreds of millions of times online so far. As you know, the world has changed, and we're not living in the days anymore where an artist has to go through a major record label in order to make millions of dollars. This brother lived in a $1.4 million house that was in his name and owned and paid for by him and his hard work. Yes, he was a troubled soul, but that's part of what comes with being a star child, and we'll talk about that in a minute. At the time of his death, it's reported that he was facing 15 felony charges, including aggravated battery of a pregnant woman, which in the state of Florida, that surely was not going to turn out well. But according to Diplo, this was a person that was accepting of all his faults, was willing to work on changing himself, and also willing to pay the consequences for all his actions. He recently scored a $6 million distribution deal in October of 2017. The suspicious part about his death, many are saying, and I myself do too say, think outside the box. Who stands to gain riches from Xxxtentacion's death? Let's go a little further. At 20 years old, are your ducks in a line? Have you dotted all your I's and crossed your T's? The average 20-year-old has not. Meaning, he's left behind an empire. worth millions, if not hundreds of millions. So, with no will directing where his money will go, who do you think stands to gain from all that he has left behind? A lot of people hated him, but a lot more people loved him. He told a story one time of where he was stomping a gay kid, stomping his head into the concrete, and he was stomping him as if he wanted to kill him, with every intention of killing him. Xxxtentacion's vivid description of violence, both violence he had caused and violence he had endured, the way he described these situations with braggadocio, angered many people. But he had seen many rough days. He often talked about how his mom loved him and wanted him but could not afford to keep him. He told a story about when this one man was beating on his mother and he bit him so hard he took a chunk of flesh out of his hand, and how he stabbed the man multiple times. Even that story he told while smiling, smirking, and laughing. His charges were domestic violence, false imprisonment, aggravated assault, aggravated battery by strangulation, witness tampering, even home invasion robbery. But Kendrick Lamar called him a genius, and Kendrick Lamar even told his audience to go listen to him. Recently, he was hit with 8 new witness tampering charges, which, if found guilty, he would have faced decades in prison. But this was not a suicide, and he was not running from anything. He was willing to face whatever was coming his way. He said so. So how did he die so suddenly? Alright, so if you've never looked up Star Children before, go ahead and look up Star Children. Just for education's sake, this might help some parents to understand their children. It might even help you to understand yourself. Right? So Star Children, the category is divided into 3 categories. You have indigo, crystal, and rainbow. I won't go too deep into what each one is. You should be able to do that on your own. We live in an age of information, and there is an endless stream of information out there for you. The purpose of Star Children, though, Star Children came to bring peace, to topple corrupted systems. Their main goal, though, is to shift dimensional consciousness. To shift dimensional consciousness. The purpose of the Rainbow Child is to complete the final stages of the foundation that the Indigo and the Crystal Children have made. Now, I don't know if you saw it, but Xxxtentacion's last message before he was gunned down showed clear and accurate clairvoyancy. One of the gifts of Star Children is that they're very intuitive. They can actually tell what's about to happen to them. They're very good at reading character and people. And I know a lot of people are going to say, well, why didn't he just avoid it if he knew it was going to happen? I'm not saying that he knew exactly the time and the situation, but they're very good at knowing that something's about to happen. That type of thing. They're here in creation to take a stand against social injustice. And it's funny because he just released a song that was dedicated to the victims of the Parkland school shooting. His song name was Hope. I don't know if you remember the whole Parkland school shooting from Florida, which is close to where Xxxtentacion grew up, and he is a Florida boy. But his final message was very eerie. His final message about the mind being limitless, and all they have to do is dream and have the strength to fulfill that dream, and the mind is limitless. That has a lot to do with why he is no longer here. The shift of dimensional consciousness. Becoming a leader of millions or an influencer of millions, you must understand that people who you don't want paying attention to you will seek to pay attention to you, to find you, to get close to you, to control you, to harness your influential power and use you and it for their agenda. I don't know if you're walking with this story or not, but if you are, leave it in the comment section below. We don't spell everything out, but we speak in codes, and if you know what time it is and you understand, leave it in the comment section below. Let me know that you understand what it is I'm saying. Alright, so he was killed in his hometown, right? He was killed in his hometown after he had left a bike shop trying to secure a deal for buying a motorcycle. That's the report that was given. So a lot of people are saying, man, he should have had security with him. He should have never been out there without security. And for those of us who don't know him, don't know of his music, don't know of his influence, don't know of his wide fan base, we would have said, why would he have security with him? I don't know him. He's no one famous. Little known that he is very famous and has millions and millions of fans. Millions and millions of followers online and millions of fans. Now, the thing about Xxxtentacion is this. He did not see himself as a star. If you check his last message, what he said in his last Instagram message before he passed, where he spoke about everyone should look themselves in the mirror and tell themselves that they're worth it. He didn't see himself as a star above other people. He didn't see himself as someone that needed to walk around with security guards and all that. He didn't see himself as someone that was in danger, although it's well publicized that he had rifts and rows with quite a few people, to include famous people like the trio, the Migos. Also Drake, he had a run-in with Drake over song stealing accusations, and quite a few others. But he himself did not see a reason why he needed to walk around with security guard, and that's the reason why he was caught off guard in his car outside of this dealership. Now here's the thing. In the world we live in today, where there are satellite cameras that monitor every street to the point where I can actually get on Google Earth and put some information in and walk the streets of New York up and down every block of my old neighborhood, I'm pretty sure this technology would be used to protect the rich, wealthy, influential. A lot of people are saying this murder will go unsolved. I'm trying to say there's enough technology out there to solve this. And if it's not used and this murder does go unsolved, then that's a sure sign of a hit. That's just my opinion anyways. Leave in the comment section and let me know if you think this was a hit, or if you think this was just a casual robbery that went wrong and that was the end result. Now, in closing this video out, I'm going to say to my Jamaican audience that yes, he was half Jamaican because his dad is, and yes, I am well aware that his father was deported from the United States of America, but his son became a millionaire at a very young age anyways, right? The rise of the Hebrew. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Leave your comment in the comment section below. Let me know what you think about this one.